when we play a show, we want to give 200%. Like literally getting out there and playing songs that we actually made and worked so hard on, and seeing people that you don't know dancing to it, vibing to it, sometimes screaming, and like we're focusing on the passion of the music and what we're making, right? So
is it ever hard to let go of the song?
There's so many things within our life that are within our control and out of our control. You spend so much time, so much effort creating this art that's so special to you. It's vulnerable, you wrote it, it came from the heart, and as soon as you release it into the world, it's no longer within your control.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 204 Rise podcast, aka the #1 podcast in North America.
Hey,
that's what I was walking up here, and that's what you told me. So we went from Winnipeg to Kenora, so we might as well take over North America.
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna stick with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the new thing for us. Is North America continue to bring on great talent for the third or second time? I can't even remember.
Second time.
It
will be third eventually.
Yeah, third eventually, but second time. Please welcome Life of Kai.
Life of Kai, baby. Woo!
thank you.
Live at Lakeside Live.
Yep.
Gentlemen, I was hearing your sound check. Amazing. Phenomenal.
Thank
guys
you.
Appreciate that. Thank
Thank you. Yeah, it went smoothly. This is insane venue, right by the water. Like, what more can you ask for?
100%. You guys have done some decent venues. What do you think about Lakeside Live right now?
It's incredible.
Yeah, one of our favorites for sure. Right?
Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Like we were saying, you're at the lake, you're in a giant tent. It's hard to be in a bad mood, right?
100%.
We brought the gear on a boat.
On a boat?
To the place.
You did.
Like, that's crazy.
What
else can you do that, right?
Has there been any other crazier setups than this? Like what's a moment from? So last time we talked was like around 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
What's a moment since then that like has stuck out for you guys?
I think like it's not necessarily even like the craziness of like a venue or a setup, but sometimes it's the unexpected shows that end up being a really good time, right?
Yeah, and the energy of the crowd. Like when the crowd's actually into it and they're actually like singing your lyrics and you don't know them. It's a crazy feeling, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a moment where the crowd wasn't feeling your music? Like they're just standing in the, like they're not even fist bumping or anything.
For sure. When we played in the city, I forget where it was. But we were playing in a club, and it was a hip hop crowd.
Oh yeah, it was at OV.
We didn't really know that. And we went in there. We had a great time. It was super fun. But
we did have lots of fun.
And the crowd, they were still like nice, you know. Like they weren't upset, but you could just tell.
Like you still saw some TikToks happening and Snapchats, but not enough.
Do you guys get like the Snapchat when they write stuff on and they go like this? Do you get like messages? What's something crazy you've seen on those?
Okay, so sort of similar, but I had when we played at Frosh, or was it Together Again or Frosh?
Okay.
Some girl handed me her phone, and I'm like, oh cool, like yeah, I'll film her a video. But it was on an app that I hadn't used before, and I'm like on stage, like mid song, mid lyric, and I'm like doing some tech support on this girl's phone, trying to figure out how to film a video. Anyway, I never got the video.
Or they hand you an Android and you're like,
like handwrite the instructions on one phone, give it to me, and then pass me the other phone on how to film.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, reflect on that a little bit. What's been some highlights? What's been some downtime? You guys have been continuing with the music thing.
Yeah, we've been making music. We've had some cool moments where we, went to the cabin for a weekend, set up a studio setup, and just made music with no pressure. Just the two of us hanging out. So that kind of stuff you never forget.
Yeah.
Because it's so unique, right?
100%, yeah.
Right on the water. And then what else?
Yeah, we've just been trying our best to stay on top of the water and keep making music, music we like. I think we've transitioned in the last 2 years to really starting to focus on why we got into making music and
not pleasing anyone but ourselves.
Yeah, making the music you want, because you can get, like, when you get into the music industry, you can get roped into, I guess, trying to make the music you think people want to hear.
100%.
And it does work for some people for sure, but I think you fall out of love with the art of it pretty quickly. And so we're trying to kind of recoup and just like get back to the drawing board and be like, hey, why are we doing this? Like, what makes us feel good? If this music makes us feel good, it's probably going to make someone else feel good. And so at the end of the day, just kind of stay true to your sound and make what you want.
What is your guys' why? Like, why do you do music?
I do music because I've always loved it. I've always loved connecting with lyrics.
Mhm.
Like that was the biggest thing to me growing up. I'd love singing along to a song. And as you get older, you realize the songs you were singing were pretty fucked up. You know what I mean? You see the lyrics now, you're
Exactly.
like, that's fucked up. I was like 12.
Yeah.
So yeah, connecting with the actual music we make. Like Jackson's an insanely talented songwriter, so
Right.
he grabs his guitar, and that's how most of his songs start.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see what he comes up with because it's essentially his story
Exactly.
and what he's creating, right? So taking that and then turning it into like a dance track or a tropical house track or
Yeah.
something is always fun because you still have that like emotion that he put into it, but you're trying to make it in a way where it's gonna be more listened to by
Right.
you know,
Mm.
I guess our crowd, I would say.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say yours why is, Jackson?
My why, I would say, I got into music pretty late in life,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until I heard a song for the first time that it just always put me in a good mood. It made me feel good. I'm a little different from Kyle. I'm more of like a melody piano chords. Like that's what I focus on when I listen to music, not as much on the lyric side.
Right.
And I just felt so good, and I'm like, man, like how
And tell him who it was.
how can we?
Who was it?
It was Levels by Avicii.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first song. I'm like, I want to listen to this on repeat and
Yeah.
never stop listening to it. And then, I just fell deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole of music. My sister got me into like the electronic music space and all that, and introduced me to artists. And I'm like, how can, like, I want to make people feel like that. Like
Right.
it made me
Mhm.
feel so good. Like I
Mhm.
want to try and do that. And so I started playing guitar and like figuring out how to do stuff, and then learned how to produce music, met Kyle, and
Yeah.
we started actually making some songs we enjoyed listening to, and we're like,
Mhm.
hey, maybe we should put some of these out, see how people feel. Maybe we can make at least one person feel good, and
Yeah.
all spirals from there.
You were saying that the music industry is in a different spot right now, and
Yeah.
taking that jump to go full time into it.
Yeah.
Why are you guys hesitant for that?
I feel like for me, the biggest thing is like we're continually growing our music, we're playing more shows,
Mhm.
and we're not going out there and trying to put ourselves, you know, because we both have jobs, we have stuff we
Yeah,
do,
of
right? And
Mhm.
we're focusing on the passion of the music and what we're
Right.
making, right? So
Mhm.
we're not like, we're not trying to like not necessarily do anything we're not ready for, but I'm saying we're just like we're taking the shows as they come, we're playing everything, we're making sure everything works with the way we're doing it, and making, because a lot of the stuff we do takes a lot of time, right? Like when we play a song out, usually the version we're going to play is different than the one we actually released, right?
Right.
So we're making remixes of our own music, and we're making sure we're like enjoying every moment of it. So it's not like we're not taking it seriously, it's just that we're like we're living in the now, and we're doing what we can, right?
It's more of
Yeah.
like passion driven rather than
100%.
fame driven. Yeah.
That's all we care about.
I think
And-
you have to make a decision too, right? Like people who go full bore into music and like that's their only thing, like they're for sure doing things that they don't necessarily want to do
course.
in the
Right.
music industry just to make an income to support themselves in order to make the music they want to make, right?
Mhm.
And Kyle and I just kind of made the decision to keep music as the passion and then support ourselves so we can keep doing the passion in a different sense, right? And I
Right.
think it's kind of the same thing. It's just one side of it, because you can have multiple passions. I'm a believer you can have multiple passions. There's many things I'm passionate about, and so I like kind of filling this void with this and this void with that, and at the end of the day it allows me to keep doing music.
Yeah.
And just the things you have to do, I find music is more marketing than making music nowadays.
Yeah.
And I took marketing in school. It's not my favorite thing in the world. And I don't want to keep being a marketing guy. I'd rather just do what I like doing, stay true to myself, slow burn, and might take me longer, but
That's exactly
enjoying
it.
the road.
Exactly. Like right now we're focusing on, like, we got some releases coming out, right? So they've been like our next track signed to a label, so that label takes care of everything.
Right.
So that's nice. They take care of our artwork, they take care of everything. So we can
Beautiful.
continue to focus on making our music and what we want to make, right?
Yeah.
So
Do you-
we're not rushing anything. Not
Mhm.
rushing.
Do you think there would be a moment or something that would push you over the edge? Would it be like an income thing? Would it be like
For sure. Like if a song went absolutely bananas and
Yeah.
then you have, you know, major labels reaching out and you were able to do things in a way that you wanted,
Yeah.
you know, that would be completely different, right?
Gotcha.
Like we want to continue playing lots of shows, right?
100%.
Of course. But we're picking and choosing every opportunity we get. We're not taking every show that's offered. We're taking every show that
Smart.
we want to take, right?
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
yeah, and it's nothing to do with crowd size. It's nothing to do
Yeah.
with that. It's literally like we just want to pick and choose every show we do. Every single move we make is chosen by the two of us.
Yeah.
And
A
how
lot
we're
of
feeling.
work.
Yeah.
That's what it comes
And
down
how
to.
we're feeling, right? Like mental health's a serious thing,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
if you're not feeling too well this month, and of course, coming to do something like this it's gonna pull you out of your funk, of course, right? But
Yeah.
when we play a show, we want to give 200%. Like we want to go out there, we want to dance around. He wants to sing his heart out. Like
Yeah.
we just want to perform, right? And that's a big thing for us, right?
100%.
Is making sure everything we do is authentic us, right? So.
Is it hard when you're so passionate about this craft that you're doing that sometimes you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone? Like maybe you're not having the best day.
Absolutely.
Maybe you got 1 hour of sleep before a show.
Yeah.
What do you tell yourself in that moment?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a severe like introvert. Like
Yeah.
I get
Really?
mad social anxiety.
And I'm the opposite. I am like, put me in any situation by myself and I'll make friends. I'll be there.
Like Kyle has to go talk to the sound guy to get my mic in. Like that. I'm an introvert, right?
Yeah.
And
When you see the fruits of your labor, all the amount of time that you guys put into your craft, when you get to do these amazing events, what does that feel like? Talk to me about the feeling of like your why coming to life and fruition of what you've accomplished.
I've said this many times. For me, playing the show is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Like literally getting out there and playing songs that we actually made and worked so hard on, and seeing people that you don't know dancing to it, vibing to it, sometimes screaming, and like it's just such an insane feeling.
Right.
And there's nothing that like there's not many things I will say that make you feel that way, right?
Yeah.
Like I have kids, obviously spending time with my kids and my girl, that obviously means the world to me. I'm
Well,
not saying
exactly.
that, but I'm saying that getting out on that stage is literally the best thing in the
feeling,
world,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an answer too. I want to say like I think what's cool about it is there's so many things within our life that are within our control and out of our control.
Yeah.
And something like art, it's often hard to allow something to leave our control. And I heard actually one of the chain smokers made a quote that not a quote, but like he said something that I liked and I agreed with.
And it was
He
on
goes-
204 Rise. He was,
Yeah,
he was being
yeah.
interviewed
He
by the
goes-
boys.
He's making his song in the studio and he's giving it like one last listen before the release date. And
Right.
he goes,
Oh yeah.
this is the last day that this song is ours, because tomorrow when it gets released, it's now theirs.
Yeah.
It's now the world's song. And how I took that, I don't know if how he intended, but you spend so much time, so much effort creating this art that's so special to you. It's vulnerable. You wrote it. It came from the heart. And as soon as you release it into the world, it's no longer
Yours.
within your control.
Yeah.
And now you can't change it. I mean, I'm sure you could change some things to some degree, but for the most part, you let it go, and whatever happens, happens.
Right.
You can only do so much. You can only prepare so much. You can only hold on to it for so long. And I think that just release of something so dear to you is like, it's like when you love something, let it go. Right?
Let it go.
You
Exactly.
let it go into the world, venture off, and do its thing, and see
Exactly.
what happens. And I think that's a cool feeling.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe in like a higher power guiding the mission, in the sense that I had this experience last night, is we were talking to the security, and it turns out like we knew the security, we went to high school with them.
No way.
apparently.
Yeah.
And like everything in the sense of like getting to the event, having this set up right now, I feel like there's just like it was meant to be in a sense.
Absolutely.
Stars align. or
The
something.
stars are aligning. Like it
absolutely.
feels too good to be true at some time.
Sure,
Do you
yeah.
ever have that feeling?
100%. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff you manifest. There's a lot of stuff you think will happen that doesn't.
Right.
But then, like, for example, you release a song and you just think, I'm just putting this out there, like, it's not going to, and then it ends up being one that people absolutely love, and it does way more numbers than you expect, and there's no way you can tell these things, right? You believe that everything you're putting out there is going to mean something to someone,
Yeah.
but then when it means something to a lot more people than you expect, it's just a crazy, crazy, crazy feeling.
Is it ever hard to let go of the song? Like, it's yours, and now you're about to put it out into
Yeah,
the
because
world.
you don't know how they're going to criticize it.
Yeah,
You know, you don't know how. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's as we were talking, right? Like we make whatever we want to make,
Right.
and we've kind of gotten pulled into the electronic DJ community, which we love. But some of our music doesn't necessarily follow the same genre that is expected at a lot of these festivals. And so sometimes we're sitting on a song that we really like, but we go, oh, does this fit the brand?
Right.
Are people going to respond well to it? Like, who's our audience? And that's when we just have to, like, again, circle back and think about it. Hey, we like this song. Someone else is hopefully going to like this song. And at the end of the day, if nobody does, we liked making it, we loved creating it, and hopefully someone else can find some joy in it and all that.
Last question for you guys. Any advice you can give to the listeners out there who are wanting to chase your passion?
Of music?
Of music, of...
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Music? Or just anything in general?
Anything in general. Like they're passionate about, you know, entrepreneurship, for example, or, you know...
Do not be scared to keep going. If you have someone negative in your life that's like, oh, why are you wasting your time? Oh, come out and do this, or come out and try to bring you away from something you believe so much in.
For sure.
Ignore it. Focus on what you believe is going to work for you and do it, because it might not be conventional. It might not be something everyone's doing, because there's people that don't have the drive you do.
Right.
And they want to bring you down because they don't have the drive, right? So just keep grinding and do whatever it takes to get your art out into the world, because it'll mean something to someone. At first it'll mean something to your dad and mom, your brother and your sister, and your cousins and that. But then one day it'll get to a point where it's like, I just met someone who knew about me before. I've never seen them in my life, right?
And I would say too, like, and not in a not negative context, but nobody cares about you as much as you think they care about you. And so if you're doing something that you're maybe a little bit embarrassed about, or like you think you're being annoying promoting or whatever, no one cares about you as much as you think. You got to do it. You got to do your thing. And the people you care about and the people who are good for you are going to respect it. They're going to see the passion. They're going to see why you're doing it, and they'll support you no matter what. And so just like Kyle said, just keep doing it and
keep grinding.
It'll all work out. 10,000 hours.
Keep grinding, keep rising, right?
Exactly.
Kyle, Jackson, thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome, brother.
Thanks for having us.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
We'll
my
definitely
bum arm.
do it again.
See you in a month.
See you later, boys.